The very first minutes of G2 vs BLG showed that this series was going to be determined by millimeters, as Bin somehow survived this gank moments before his team dived Hunt Summer and Mickey, going 2 for 1 in the play, kickstarting the Aphelios. Both teams were ready to fight over anything, and a 4v4 broke out at 6 minutes. G2 traded support for jungle, which meant that the dragon was secured by Yike, but BLG wanted to keep fighting and kill Caps as he tried to retreat to mid lane. The fighting would not stop as BLG looked for another bot dive. Mickey knew he and Hans could not survive under the tower, so he tried to get ahead of the play by hooking Elk, but at this early stage in the game, Jinx did not have enough damage to kill him before reinforcements arrived to kill Blitzcrank. G2 went for a late contest as Broken Blade TP'd in to land the Gragas Yasuo combo, but at this point it was barely a scratch, and Caps once again died trying to run from a fight. Hans did get a kill of his own on the tail end as he had just enough mana for a Super Mega Death Rocket to finish on. Finally, G2 would find a clean 2 for 0 while setting up for the dragon, or so it would seem before Yagao, Bin and Elk went in 3v4, managing to trade 2 kills for 1. G2 started to get some wind in their sails around the second Rift Herald, not only securing the objective but this time convincingly winning the fight afterwards as well. This momentum went away a few minutes later around the dragon, when G2 overcommitted to a fight that started off with Yike getting picked. They all flashed into the pit to try and kill Elk, who then just flashed out, and BLG aced G2, only losing the Lulu. G2 kept using the Maokai art to great effect, zoning BLG away from being able to contest smites, but after securing the Baron they were now stuck in the pit, and Elk's Aphelios added another clip to the G2 getting AoE'd folder as the Infernum splashed onto everyone. After picking off Mickey, BLG ran down mid 5v4 and won another fight 4 for 1, but couldn't end when Elk died. They would end a few minutes later as 2 well-timed stopwatches kept Hansama from getting excited early in the fight, meaning Elk could step forward and shut him down before he was able to take over. Game 2 began with very heavy trading bot lane, resulting in Mickey losing his flash and heal, which On would exploit to solo kill him at 4 minutes. G2 got their revenge as Yike killed the now flashless Lulu a minute later. This game was much less bloody than the first, and a significant lead wasn't fouled by either side until 13 minutes, when after a good pick on Bin, G2 overforced topside trying to find more kills, but ended up losing 3, all while Elk farmed 2 entire towers worth of plates, resulting in a 3k individual lead over Hansama. Another play went sideways for G2 at 19 minutes when an attempted pick on Yagao got turned around for 3 more kills in favour of BLG, as the rest of the team came to their mid laner's aid. To everyone's surprise, G2 won a teamfight while down over 7,000 gold, as Elk gale forced forward into 3 members of G2, and once the Aphelios was gone from the fight, so was most of BLG's lead, and G2 took 3 kills and the Baron. The game stalled out until the next Baron, and with the Maokai ult on cooldown, it seemed as though Shun might be able to get access to the pit, but he was denied entry by Caps as he flashed over the wall to bring him low. Knowing they could no longer contest the Baron, BLG ran to Dragon to secure the Chemtech Soul, but the ensuing fight favoured G2 again. G2 could still not break BLG's base, and it took another fight around a third Baron to finally decide game 2. Bin died early on, and while Elk put down as much damage as he could, Shun fell before Yike, and now with no frontline to peel for him, G2 overpowered the Aphelios. Yike was the victim of first blood in game 3, as Bin punished him for trying to hold Broken Blade's wave. BLG followed this up a few minutes later, setting a trap for Caps as he returned through the river from a top run, taking him and Yike down as the 2 top laners traded 1 for 1. Once again, a lower kill game from the 2 teams didn't really explode until the team fight at 17 minutes went 3 for 0 in favour G2, as an early pick on Shun allowed Yike's Viego to take over the fight, resetting through BLG. Yike continued to be the star for G2, creating chaos and fights and winning the 50-50 smite for Baron in the 25th minute. G2 knew they didn't have to base with Shunston in the Death Chamber and moved over to the Dragon. Sacking an objective is not in the LPL playbook, however, and BLG stepped up 4v5 only to give G2 2 more kills. With a fresh numbers advantage on the map now, G2 still didn't reset, taking mid tower before Hunt's overchased trying to kill Yagao, and gave Shun his shutdown as Mickey had no mana left to get the Wukong off him. G2 lost positioning on the 5th Drake when Caps got picked off looking for a kill, and Shun once again found Hansama as Mickey had separated from him to try and save the Annie. After taking the Drake, it was now BLG's turn to make the most of a numbers advantage, transitioning over to secure the Baron. It went down quite slowly though, giving Caps enough time to respawn and TP top lane for a flank. It looked like it wouldn't be enough when Elk survived the initial play, but Yike managed to hunt him down with Viego's mobility, and even though the fight was only a 3 for 3, G2 was still happy to get rid of 3 Baron buffs, which meant the game kept going. The decisive fight started off in disaster for G2 as Yagao's flash charm connected with Hansama. He stopwatched to buy time, but Yike, Broken Blade and Caps focused their attentions on going forward instead of peeling the Jinx, and BLG took down G2's ADC, while Elk managed to get to safety. From then on, the fight was unlosable for BLG, and a clean 5 for 0 took the LPL representatives to match point. Game 4 began with a little bit of lane swap chicken, which G2 eventually won when Bin showed on midwave. With Yagao stuck top lane, G2 targeted him, and good patience to wait out the glacial path meant it was an easy first blood for Caps. G2 found a second kill before things took a turn for the worse at the Rift Herald. Mickey tried to contest before Caps was in range to help, and BLG easily took down the level 4 Brom before killing Yike and the Herald as well. G2 were gifted a kill by Elk, and the Aphelios carry seemed possible for Hansama until 15 minutes. Caps, Yike and Mickey tried to pick off Shun, who was able to escape over the wall with the Heartbreaker. Meanwhile, Elk, who was on Lucian's biggest spike, with Gale Force and Nami's mandate both completed, was free to destroy Hansama and run the fight, resulting in a 3 for nothing for BLG. From then on, BLG slowly tightened the noose that they had around G2's neck, never even letting them into their own jungle, tearing them apart when they tried tried to contest the dragon at 22 minutes, leading to a Baron, which would just balloon the lead further. Anytime someone from G2 placed even a toe out of line, it was quickly stamped on. While it wasn't the fastest game of MSI, it was definitely one of the more hopeless ones, as the result just seemed inevitable for the last 10 minutes of the game. G2 knew they had to contest the Infernal Soul, and even though they managed to kill Elk, Bin was too strong on the Gwen, and murdered the G2 backline before TPing into G2's base to end the series 3-1. Well, I guess it's time for the entirety of the West to become C9 fans, and honestly, as long as Eminez doesn't get completely gapped by Chovy, I think it's actually doable.